So I want to talk to you today about the 4 reasons why someone doesn't follow through on the promises and things that are important to themselves, the promises that they make to themselves and the things that are important to them. Why do people have trouble being consistent with something that is important to them, but somewhere along the way they lose motivation, or they forget why it was important, or they lose that vision that they had when they first started? And this is based off of my personal experience. I was someone who had a lot of trouble showing up to themselves and being consistent, keeping my promises to myself, and I call that self-loyalty. But this is also based off of the clients that I work with and how over time I see that these are the 4 common factors when someone is having issues with showing up to themselves regularly. And so I want to discuss each point with you kind of briefly. Maybe I'll go into this again in depth, but I want to cover each of the 4 reasons why you might be struggling with being consistent, being loyal to yourself, keeping promises to yourself, seeing things through. The opposite of those things. So if this is you, then this video is for you. It's the opposite of self-loyalty. It's the opposite of consistency, okay? So it'll look like this. You start with a really clear idea of what you want to change in your life. And you say, you know what, I'm tired of sleeping in late every day. I'm going to start waking up early. And I'm going to go to bed early and wake up early so I can feel better and get more done. Start waking up early for a while, a week, 2 weeks, and then eventually you're back to where you started, waking up late, going to bed late, and back into the same patterns, right? Another example is working out. Someone gets really motivated to work out, start this new workout routine. They're on top of it. They're following the program. They're feeling great. They're starting to see, they're thinking, if I keep doing this, I will see the results that I want. And they're starting to see and feel results. But then inevitably, things go back to the way they were, and pretty soon they're burnt out and they're not going to work out anymore. They're going to go on to something new. Maybe that wasn't the program. Maybe that wasn't the right thing for me. So I'm going to try something else. And the whole cycle repeats again. Another example is you have this amazing idea. You want to start a little business, and you know it's a great idea because every time you talk about it, you get really excited, and your friends tell you, you should definitely do that. People need what you're offering. They need this service. They need this business, this product, whatever it is that you're thinking of putting out in the world. And you get these ideas going and there's no follow through. You don't really end up doing anything with it. It just stays an idea. So it's like there's this inspiration at the start, and then it dwindles and it dies. And where does it go? And why does it go away if it was so important to you? And you feel that importance every time you talk about it or think about it, but it kind of feels too big to do anything. It feels too scattered, or it feels out of reach, or there's always something that comes and takes it away from you, that kind of steals away that momentum that you started with. Something comes up in life, someone needs something, and eventually you go back into forgetting yourself, self-forgetting, or I call it self-betrayal. You go against what you said you were going to do, or you don't show yourself the follow-through that you really deserve, and you wonder why. So here are the reasons why. First of all, too much pressure. Okay, you're putting too much pressure on yourself. That's one reason why people don't show up to themselves. And I just took some notes here before I wanted to make sure I hit them all in this order. So there's too much pressure that you're putting on yourself. That's one reason why people don't have consistency, or why they fall off of a plan or motivation that they started with. It's because they're putting too much pressure on themselves. So too much pressure is number 1. Not clear on your why is number 2. Not clear on your why. Okay, and I'll go over each one in a little bit more in detail, and I'll tell you what that means. But You're not clear on your why. You start with the clear vision, but the vision fades away and you don't remember why it was so important to you. So you're not clear on the reason why you're doing it initially. The third reason why people fall off from something that is important to them, that they say they're going to do and they want to do, is they're not grounded. They're not grounded. They feel chaotic inside, and it's really hard to focus and have clarity when you're scattered or chaotic or feeling frantic inside, when you're thinking a lot or running around a lot, but you're not feeling settled, grounded, stable, secure, peaceful, and calm. Then the fourth reason is there's a lack of organization. A lack of organization. So a lack of organization makes sense, right? It's like you might have the plan in your head, but how are those action steps going to be executed? What's the follow-through plan? What's the thing that puts it on a system so that it's repeated, so that you do show up to yourself on a regular basis and it's just put into your schedule? So it could be a lack of organization or lack of schedule, let's say. But for my notes, I wrote lack of organization. So we'll go over each one again. Too much pressure. You're not clear on your why. You're not grounded, or you have a lack of organization. And all of these reasons could be at play if you find that you often self-forget, or you often don't have the follow-through that you intend to have with yourself. Or it could be a combination, maybe two of these together, or maybe it's just one. But I find that most people, it's all of them to some degree. So let's go over each one. So too much pressure. When you put too much pressure on yourself to do something, it makes it harder to do it. This is a really awesome way of understanding what people say is laziness is often not laziness. In fact, I don't believe people are lazy. I believe that people feel too much pressure and then they procrastinate, and it looks like laziness, but I don't believe that anyone's really lazy, because if there's something that someone is excited about or worth it to someone, they'll always do it. But when that thing feels too big, then they resist. So when there's too much pressure on yourself, you resist. And that can often be paired, too much pressure can be paired with a sense of perfectionism or a sense of all or nothing. Like, it has to be this way, and if I don't do it this way, it's not worth me doing it. And so if I don't bring that A game into the situation that I'm trying to be consistent in, then I'm a failure. That's what too much pressure will have you believing. If I don't bring my A game, if I don't do it to the 100% max, if I don't fit these standards, then I'm not really doing it. And because I don't have that in me today, I'm just not going to do it. And that leads to inconsistency. You think that you have to be on top of it, up here all the time. And that is too much to ask. So you don't show up. You procrastinate. You're like, okay, well, next week I'll get it. I'll get it back. I'll get my A game back. I'll do it up here. But I can't do it now, so I just won't do anything at all. And I want you to apply this to whatever situation that you feel you're inconsistent in, whatever area of your life you want to be more loyal to yourself in. That's why I'm being purposefully a little vague, because I don't want this too much pressure could apply to any area of your life where you're not seeing inconsistency. So the point is to take the pressure off of yourself, to take the pressure off. And one of the things that I teach in my class, Building a Body Practice, which teaches people how to be consistent with themselves by showing up to their body in a conscious way, in a gentle way, is the concept of 100%. Your 100% effort will change every day. Giving your 100% isn't about meeting this standard of 100% every time, this arbitrary standard. It's about being conscious of how you feel and how you are today, and doing what you can do that day that is manageable. So in the case of working out, if you have a plan to, let's say, go to boot camp class 5 days a week, and it's Wednesday and you're already burnt out, and you think, I'm so exhausted, I'm not going to go to my boot camp class, I'm just going to take it as a rest day, and then maybe the next day you also take a rest day, and now you feel like a failure because you're not going to class 5 days a week. There's too much pressure there. You're saying, if I don't attend class, then I'm not fulfilling my goal to be more fit or more in my body. So the way that you would approach this instead is recognize, what is the best I can do today? What is my 100%? And when you think of your workout in that way, you will still show up to your body, but you just won't do it in that one specific way that you said, which is attending the boot camp class. Maybe you'll take a 20-minute walk instead. Maybe you'll go for a swim, or you'll do 10 minutes of abs in your room instead of going to the class and doing the hardcore class. So the point is, stop measuring yourself against an arbitrary standard that says this is perfection, and if I don't do it, then I'm a failure, so I'm not going to do it today. Just take the pressure down, lower the standard, and meet yourself where you are. What is your 100% for today? And then just do the thing that is reasonable for you that day. And every day it might change, but you do your best for the day. So too much pressure is answered when you take off that sense of perfection, or the all or nothing, or the 100% thinking that it always has to look the same way. When you loosen those ideas and start to think about it in a little bit of a more gentle way, then you're helping yourself not feeling the pressure. And then it makes people want to show up because they don't feel the pressure. They think, well, I can do that. I mean, that's easy enough. I don't have to, crush myself in this workout, or study this many hours, or launch this product by this date. What if I just take one tiny little step towards it? That's manageable. I can do that. Then you'll do it. Then you're consistent. Now you're showing yourself self-loyalty. Okay, the other thing is not being clear on your why is another reason why people will fall off and ultimately stop showing up to themselves. It's that a lot of times we have these moments of clarity where we get really excited or really inspired to do something. Think, you know what? I'm tired of this 9-to-5 job. I'm gonna work on this. I don't know. Let's just say I'm gonna work on this book I've been writing, and I'm gonna launch a course, and I'm gonna do what I love and offer it to the world, and eventually that's gonna be my main source of income. Tired of this 9-to-5. It's not fulfilling to me. It's not my soul's purpose to do this job. So I'm gonna work on this thing that I've had in my mind. And they have this moment of clarity, and they start building it, they start doing it. But then eventually they kind of sink back into the old ways and just start doing the 9-to-5 and kind of forget about that dream, and it just becomes sort of a background idea. Well, in my opinion, one of the reasons is you're not clear enough on why this is so important to you. You might think it's because you don't want to work the 9-to-5 job because it doesn't make you happy, and you want more money, let's say. You want to make money doing what you love, but the 9-to-5 isn't the answer to that, right? But that's not a deep enough reason why. Most people don't go deep enough with why they are doing something. They just stop at the surface level. Having more money, looking better, having more energy, all of those things are kind of surface levels to why we do things. Oh, if I do this, then I'll get. If I do this, then I'll get. If I do this, then I'll get. When you think of why you're doing something in terms of what you will get, that is a surface level. But we want to go into the deeper reason why. You want to be clear on your why, even more clear than all of the things you'll get, which is still really important. That's part of the why. But the deeper reason why is what will really carry you and motivate you when things get hard. So a deeper reason why is something that is related to why you believe you're here on earth, what you believe your purpose is. It's also related to what you believe you can contribute to the world or how you're going to grow as a person. So when you get into the deeper reasons why you're doing something, you will be hitting on one of those things. You will be hitting on what you believe spiritually or religiously about why you are here on this planet and how it relates to that thing that you're going to do. Or you're going to hit on how you believe and see that this thing that you're trying to do is going to help you contribute to the world or to your family or to the people that you love, the people in your life. Or you're going to see how the thing you're trying to do and be consistent in is going to help you grow as a purpose and grow as a person and what that means to you. So that's how you know you're really getting deep into the why, is when you're hitting on one of those things or all of those levels. And the more levels you can hit, related to our purpose, why we're here on earth, why do you believe you're here on earth, how you're going to contribute and how you're going to grow. If you can hit on all three of those factors or reasons when you're establishing your why and really digging into it, that's going to make that vision sticky. It's going to make it clear in your mind and really motivate you and pull you towards it even when it's hard. But if you stay on the surface level, which it's very important to know the surface level. You want to be inspired by surface level things too, like money and how you're going to feel or what you're going to be able to do, right? But you also want to go deeper, because that depth is going to be what really supports you to move forward when the project that you have or the thing you're trying to be consistent in gets challenging, or it's not as exciting as it was when you first had the idea. You want to have something that's going to pull you even when the excitement isn't as high as it was before. You want something that's going to get you through those slower or lower points. So the third is how to be grounded. If you're not grounded, and again, I said, what that looks like. It's like you don't feel a sense of calm in yourself, and so it's really hard to remember what's important for you to do, or to even think that you have the time to do what's important for you to do. So if someone's starting their own business and they really want this thing to work, but in order for it to work, they need to do something. They need to create something or work on it every day. Or if they're trying to write a book, let's say, they need to know that they're going to write it every day in order for the thing to get done. And if you're working on being consistent in your workouts, you need to have the confidence and the ability to show up every day to your workouts. So whatever it is you're trying to establish in your life and be consistent in, if you're not grounded, you will have the sense that you don't have time to put towards that thing. You'll forget that thing is important. You'll feel like you have a billion things to do, and that one you forget about, or like I said, doesn't feel important. So feeling ungrounded is like feeling scattered, feeling chaotic, feeling stressed, feeling like you're thinking about a billion things, and it's feeling like there's so much going on in life that one thing that you said you were going to do is just one of the many thousand things on a to-do list, and it doesn't feel that important because it's just another thing adding to your sense of chaos within. So how to get grounded? This is really important work, and I think it's actually one of the most uncomfortable pieces of work when you are operating at this stress level. So it's like the antidote to feeling chaotic is going to be the least comfortable thing to do. In my opinion, it is truly meditation or some form of connecting to a calmer frequency, a more healing energy. And that can be found within. So to not feel grounded, we have to be still. We have to monitor our thoughts in that stillness and notice that our thoughts are keeping us busy, keeping us feeling frantic. Our sense of worry and like, oh, I gotta do stuff, I gotta do this, I shouldn't be sitting here. That is the one thing that you need to be aware of when you're working on being grounded, is how your mind is trying to convince you don't have the time, or you feel anxiety by just being still. How to get over that is honestly to keep doing it every day. Every day. Sitting down in stillness, in meditation, which to me, when you just start out meditating, it's simply just sitting with yourself and being aware of how your brain is constantly trying to go and tell you don't have the time to sit. Being aware of that is meditation. And if you can build that awareness and realize on a daily basis, you build this practice of sitting with these thoughts, recognizing my thoughts are convincing me that I don't have the time, but certainly I have 10, 20 minutes to do this. I definitely can do 5 minutes. I can do 10 minutes, I can do 15 minutes, whatever you can dedicate to it. The more you build that awareness in that space, the easier it becomes. And you can sit still for longer and notice over time, I don't feel so stressed. I actually have a sense of peace. And now I feel like I can come up with a plan that's clear and easy to follow, because you're taking yourself out of survival mode. You're taking yourself out of the sympathetic nervous system, which tells you you are in danger or you need to be afraid or fight, flight, freeze. Those responses are all part of this stress out feeling that I'm talking about, which is not a grounded state. So you have to get grounded. If you are trying to be consistent with yourself in whatever way, you have to be grounded so that you can connect to your deep vision, so you can connect to your why, so you can feel that sense of pressure lifted off. If you're not grounded, it's going to be really hard to not feel that sense of pressure that we were talking about in the beginning, or to forget your why because you're so scattered in your brain. But if you're grounded, you're going to be able to connect to the deeper reasons why you do things. You're going to be able to remember your why, and you're going to feel called to be consistent instead of pressured. And remember, pressure is creating resistance within. We don't want pressure when we're doing stuff. We don't want to feel like, I have to do this, I have to do it. If I don't, then blah, 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 blah. You don't want to operate from that point of view if you're looking for consistency. So getting grounded is really important. It starts with meditation. It starts with being aware of your thinking, aware of your thinking mind. It starts with building tolerance and patience with yourself, within yourself, and just being aware of these thoughts and these feelings of discomfort. And it's okay to feel discomfort, and it's totally okay to notice that your brain doesn't want to stop thinking. In the beginning, that's just how it goes. But getting grounded is also about focusing on your breathing, bringing yourself to something very simple like your breath, and something cyclical. Your breathing is so easy to focus on because it is a repetitive, natural motion that brings you to your body, which is in the here and now. Another way to get grounded is by being in nature, just sitting outside and relaxing, noticing the birds, noticing the sounds of the trees, looking at the clouds, and sitting on the earth, like physically getting grounded, grounding your energy, just the way electricity needs to be grounded in a house. You have to ground the energy of your body onto the earth. the electric currents that we use for our electricity, I guess, our appliances or whatever, are plugged in to an outlet, and that outlet is grounded to earth, right? I mean, I'm not a very sciencey person, but it's something like that. And so we have to do that as humans. We also have to connect ourselves to the earth so that all that energy that's going on, like how lightning will connect to earth, lightning from, up above comes down and connects to earth. That's how it grounds. Your chaotic energy also needs to ground, get down onto the earth. Okay, so that's step 3, or the third factor in why people are not consistent, why you might be struggling with consistency. And that's how you get grounded. That's a starting point. The fourth is lack of organization. Okay, so all of this so far is a really good starting point for being consistent and creating self-loyalty. But none of it matters if you don't have a way of doing these things and reminding yourself of these things on a regular basis. And that's part of organization. So if you say, I want to do XYZ, I'm going to change it my ways, I am motivated, it is so important to me to do this thing. Where's the follow through? How do you start the plan for how that's going to happen? Where do you go to make sure it gets done? To me, that's where the calendar comes in. If you're not using a planner, if it's not in the schedule, and if you're not serious about how you use your schedule, like let's just say you have a calendar but you don't really ever look at it, then you're not really giving yourself a fair chance. So use a calendar, at least. Use some form of organization on a daily basis and learn to provide that leadership for yourself. That's how I see my calendar is, okay, Alexandra, this is what I have planned for you. If you do these things today in this way, and you do those steps, you will be on the right track to those things you said you wanted to do. You will be on the right track to fulfilling your goals. You will be living your purpose on a day-to-day basis if you follow this schedule. And the schedule needs to be realistic. There needs to be time to ground, to be outside. There needs to be time to eat. There needs to be time to get ready, sleep. All the practical things need to go into the schedule. And then around the important things that keep someone grounded, you schedule in the things that are going to help you fulfill your soul's mission or really show up to yourself. So if I say I want to write a book, where is the time of day? Where's that block of time that I'm going to write my book? Is it in the calendar, and does it make sense? Am I well fueled? Have I rested? Have I eaten? Okay, great. I provided those grounding habits for myself. Now I know that showing up to writing my book is on the calendar, and I can do that. So you have to have a way of organizing yourself. And if you don't, then everything up above, the not being grounded, the not clear on your why, the too much pressure, isn't going to be addressed, because there's not a regular way that you see to it that you're correcting those issues. So I guess what I'm saying is, if I don't use a calendar, then how will I know? How will I remind myself to read my vision? Let's say I have a vision to do something, to work out, to be healthy, to take a walk every morning, whatever it is. But I know this about myself, that I tend to lose motivation 2 weeks into the new plan. Then I could, if I have a calendar, a way of organizing myself, then I can put in the calendar every other day or daily or weekly a time where I review my vision for why I'm doing the thing. I can pull up a document, or I can listen to a recording of myself, or I can play a motivational tape that reminds me of my why. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you have a schedule or an organizer, you can make sure to it that you're tending to these things that are going to keep you on track and keep you motivated and help you stay loyal to yourself. But if you're keeping it all in your head, it's likely you're going to forget, because life happens and things come up, and that's just how it is. But an organizer is like you're able to take a bird's eye perspective and plan for yourself, do the things for your future self, and become like an assistant to yourself. Your current self is assisting your future self. Hey, I got this plan for you. Just follow this, and the thing you said you were going to do that was really important to you is going to be taken care of. Or you're going to be reminded to meditate and be grounded every day because it's in your schedule. But if it's not in your schedule, then it's just a matter of time before one of those things gets dropped and you start to forget, and then you're back to square one. So I hope that helps you really see maybe where you could improve in your life in terms of how you want to show up to yourself and why it's been difficult. And now you can change that. Now there's 4 things to look at and implement in your life. And remember, use a way of actually scheduling it and making sure that you're serious about that schedule. Like if you have a planner and you put an awesome schedule in there, but you only look at the calendar once a day and forget what you said you were going to do, then it's kind of pointless. So you have to look at the way that you're going to organize it on a daily basis and have respect for that planning system that you've chosen. Okay? I'll see you around. See you tomorrow. Bye.